Okay, so moving forward, now we are going to have our first lightning talk of the day. I would like to introduce Max Hout, president of Vast Space, who will showcase their commercial approach to the future of stations. The future of commercial future low Earth orbit is as diverse as it is thrilling. So please welcome me in joining Max.
Well, good morning, and firstly I'd like to thank the organizer for giving us the opportunity to introduce VAST to you, this community that obviously is making a lot of the research and activity on the ISS possible. So I'm president at VAST, and first I'll tell you a little bit about VAST and our roadmap before I dive into the detail of our first mission, Haven 1. So VAST was founded to help contribute, resolve one of humanity's greatest challenge, or at least space exploration's greatest challenge, which is how do we live in space for long duration? How do we live in space for much longer than a year and explore the stars? And so as you all know, and have contributed to, we have a lot of data about what happens to the human body in microgravity in 0G, and we definitely have a lot of it in 1G. But we don't have a lot of information and data of what happens in between. You know, is Mars gravity or lunar gravity enough to mitigate some of the problem we have in living in long duration in space? And so that's the problems we want to help contribute and resolve. And our solution for that is to propose our artificial gravity space station we call STIC. It's a Starship-based space station, 7 meter by 100 meter long, assembled from 7 Starship launch modules, and assembled as a stick spinning over its end to generate artificial gravity at 4 RPM approximately. That would give you 1G of gravity at one end of the stick and 0G in the center, and in between, obviously offer for research and for experiment a range of artificial gravity environment in between 0 and 1G. So as a startup, and we'll talk about funding and the size of our company, we can't just jump to this very ambitious vision, obviously. And it will take a while and some time, and we need to wait for Starship to be available. And so in thinking, how can we position ourselves, how can we demonstrate to the community and to what we believe is our core customer, which are governments from around the world, and especially the opportunity created by NASA's Commercial LEO Destination RFP and procurement program. You know, how can we position ourselves in the best way possible? And how can we build our organization and practice and all the discipline and build the right team that can deliver this vision I've described of our STIC long term? And so that's when we came up with Haven 1. And so Haven 1 is not, we will do actual artificial gravity experiment on it, we can talk about it. But Haven 1 is really designed as our stepping stone, our first step in low Earth orbit for VAST. And we took the approach, you know, what we really need to do is to keep it relatively simple. It's obviously not simple. And we need to make it happen as quickly as possible. And we need to pick an architecture and a set of partners that will allow us to create what we believe can be the first commercial space station on orbit. And not only a piece of hardware that is capable to be a space station, but we also believe to be able to have this claim to be the world's first commercial space station, you need to have a crew visit it, and you obviously need a docking port and life support system to do it. And so this is a render, obviously, of Haven 1 in low Earth orbit, where you can see Dragon docked there. To simplify the approach, the first decision we made is that we do not need or do not require a resupply strategy. And so Haven 1 is designed for a 3-year lifetime. It will be the orbit, you know, control the orbit. And in terms of crew consumable, we've designed it for an aggregate time of 40 days. So our goal is to have Haven 1 in orbit for 3 years, and during that time to have up to 4 expeditions of 10 days on average. You know, maybe one will be 15, 20 days, and maybe we'll have 3. But we are launching with all the consumables on board to allow that, to allow a 40-day crewed time during that 3-year lifetime. Now, to make it possible, fulfilling this stepping stone mission, we obviously need a crew vehicle partner, and we need a crew vehicle mission. And so we approached SpaceX and basically signed a contract for a dedicated Dragon mission to basically dock with Haven 1 as soon or shortly after it is in orbit and after checkout. And the crew has not been selected, but we are actively selling up to 4 seats for this fully contracted mission. We were very excited when we approached SpaceX that they were aligned with our view to keep it simple, relatively simple, to make it happen quickly, and to also prove for them that Dragon can dock to another destination, another IDA port than what is currently on the ISS. And so we found a very motivated and aligned partner, not only as a supplier to us and partner, but also a partner that really wants to make it happen with this approach and this timeline. To launch the module, we also decided that in the spirit of keeping it simple, we didn't want to wait for Starship. We obviously believe Starship is the game changer for our industry. Our roadmap is based on it. But as you all know, it might take a little longer or not. And we want to design today Haven 1 to a specification, an environment, a volume, a schedule, a manifest that we know exists today. And when we are ready, we'll be able to launch. And that's Falcon 9. So in addition to the Dragon flight, we have a Falcon 9 flight manifested and contracted with SpaceX, which is scheduled no earlier than August 2025, so 2 years from today. And obviously, as you know, delays can occur, and this is a very ambitious goal, but we have a launch window. But all of our decisions, all of our team building, all of the partnership we create to build Haven 1 is based on this aggressive objective of launching Haven 1 in 2 years and having a crew vehicle by the end of 2025 visited. So I'll show you a quick video render of what we expect Haven 1 to look like on orbit. So diving in more detail, why do we believe we can pull this together in such a timeline? The first part is our team. So VAS was founded and created by our CEO and founder, sole founder, Jed McCaleb. And over the first period of this existence, we built an amazing engineering team, which over 80% of the leadership of the engineering team have contributed to design and develop Dragon at SpaceX. The second part is, as we mentioned, is our partnership with SpaceX. We are leveraging many of the Dragon system, and actually to simplify some of the architecture, we are keeping Dragon active and sun-pointed during the mission, unlike on the ISS where it is passivated. And so we're truly building a system together that is optimized to get it done as quickly as possible. The third element is the funding. We are in a unique position to be fully funded by our sole investor and founder, Jed McCaleb, through to the Haven 1 mission, through the end of 2026 to deliver that. And so that gives us the opportunity to execute without the constraint of fundraising. Obviously, we have to execute and deliver the hardware and the mission to make it happen. So a few other key elements. So firstly, it is compatible and will be approved by SpaceX before the launch to dock with Dragon. So the IDA port and what we need on our end is part of the program, and we found a solution that we can get SpaceX comfortable so that obviously if we are ready in orbit and holding altitude and have all of our checkouts as expected before Dragon arrive, they will dock to it. One of the key aspects of Haven 1, you can see it's obviously nothing like the size of the ISS, but if you look at it from Dragon's perspective, it's a material increase in the volume available of Dragon on a free flyer mission, for example. And not only it's an extension of the volume, but it's also an extension of the duration that a free flyer Dragon can stay if you add Haven 1. And so we can offer missions up to 30 days on Haven 1 and Dragon, starting with a base package of 10 days is our minimum reference mission. We'll talk about payload opportunities, but we are building in mid-lock lockers and an express rack with power and obviously other commodities for research. And one of the differentiators is that they can be integrated, installed at our facility in Long Beach before the flight. We do expect to perform a spin experiment, even on this small form factor, to reach lunar gravity uncrewed. We're exploring the crewed version, but most likely we'll be focusing solely on an uncrewed, without Dragon version. Obviously, our customers have full control and privacy, and we're providing a window for photographic opportunity and also always on high-speed internet. We can't say much more detail, but we expect it to be a significant differentiator. So you can see we're making great use of the Falcon 9 volume with fitting as much space as we can in volume. So it is 3.8 meter diameter, 10.1 meter in height. Total mass budget is 14 ton. Total power available in terms of solar panels, deployable solar panels, is 15 kilowatts. The orbit that we are targeting with SpaceX is the ISS inclination, but a slightly higher orbit of 500 kilometer to save on our propellant and altitude control. As I mentioned on board, we have a booth, and if you are interested to explore payload opportunities, we have a data sheet that you can pick up at our booth. We obviously hope that for this first mission, we will perform meaningful science and start engaging the community already now. VAS-1 is the name of the first expedition. We have actually two Dragon contract, two Dragon mission on contract. VAS-1 is the first one, and the first one that will be docking with the space station shortly after it is commissioned. And as I mentioned, we have 4 crew members. We're selling the 4 seats, and we have up to 30 days that can be offered contractually. So going back to the roadmap, we believe in stepping stone. Today, we're already flying a space platform at a subscale level on SpaceX rideshare to test various components, especially in avionics software and other sensors. The main focus of the company is obviously building up and delivering on Haven 1 at the end of 2025. After that, we hope and expect to be the first Starship-based single module at around the 2028 timeline. And then the vision of the stick, the artificial gravity stick I provided at the beginning of the talk, our goal is to get that done in the 2030s. It's obviously an incredible undertaking, given that it's 7 full-size Starship module assembled in orbit. So, our key target customer is obviously governments, and obviously, NASA and the commercial layer destination being on top of that list. And we were not around for the first CLD award. The company was not founded yet, but we're very excited that we were selected for the next on-ramp, which is CCSC2, the SpaceX agreement that we signed and announced a week ago, that gives us the opportunity to on-ramp and have access to design and services and facilities from NASA under that SpaceX agreement. This is our headquarters. We have 115,000 square feet in 2 buildings in Long Beach. We're building that out. VAST acquired a company called Launcher, which also has existing manufacturing capability in CNC and additive manufacturing and integration. And obviously a large part of the systems we're building are vertically integrated and built and designed in-house. This is our team about 2 months ago. We're now at about 40 people. We are 180 people, including interns. And we have 100 open positions right now. So to achieve our goal with Haven 1, we clearly need to scale and scale rapidly. We've assembled an incredible team of advisors. Karen, Hans, Will, and Yang Li have had incredible careers at SpaceX, contributing to all of their roadmap with their various disciplines. And more recently, we announced our first astronaut advisor, Garrett Reisman, that joined our board of advisors. We're very excited to have him on board. He's obviously a NASA astronaut that has been on the ISS, which is a minimum requirement. But he also participated in the design of Dragon, so both has experience in contributing to the design of spacecraft, but also intimately know our partner vehicle, which is the SpaceX Dragon, and the team that we have that worked with him at the time. And so to close it out, when we announced the Haven 1 mission was only on May 10, so just a few months ago that we declared our goal to the industry. And that also started the commercial phase for VAST. So we have 4 seats available primarily for international space agencies that we are meeting and talking to. We are open to private astronauts, so long as they are involved in useful research. But our primary goal is that the main customers on this flight are professional astronauts from space agencies. And so that wraps it up for me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you all, especially given your background and your contribution to space exploration. Thank you again, and we hope we'll be working with you in the future.